Hi there, Cosmic Family. My name is Eliali in this incarnation. I am here today to talk about the energies of this next week from tomorrow, June 23rd, until June 29th. This is the last week of this month. And well, the most important event is the new moon in Cancer. I already did a video talking about that. You have that in the reproduction list. The configurations that I have mentioned in that video are present the whole week. Moon in Cancer, when we have these phases, we could experiment a lot of emotionality, sensitivity, and memories that are emerging. Our emotions are fluctuating a lot. So it is a key to observe, to confront, or to go through these processes as a part of the path, as the vulnerability that is necessary to allow ourselves to reconnect with our strength to move forward. Emotion comes from the Latin emotio, that derives from emovere, which is move. In the arcana, the seventh arcana of the tarot, the chariot, it is associated with the sign of Cancer because the emotion, it is what gives us the information to where we need to move, and it is also the impulse. When we are feeling, for example, enthusiasm, we are really feeling the impulse to do it, to take action. Movement could also be mental. Many times what we need is to change the perception, not only our actions. So it is also important for the people that don't have any problem with connecting with their emotions to limit the inner dialogues that are feeding instability, because we today, June 22nd, we have the perfection of the Sun in Cancer, creating the square with Saturn in Aries, and tomorrow, 23rd, the Sun in Cancer perfects the square with Neptune in Aries. These aspects are part of the new moon, but we have been feeling them since the moment that the Sun entered Cancer. So as Neptune is a planet of dissolution, of limits, precisely, I mean the barriers that prevents us from feeling the connection with unity inside and with everything that surrounds us. Well, this could be incarnated in many ways in this plane. I mean, not every time that we have a transit with Neptune, we are going to dissolve all the barriers. This is a process, actually. And this could be traduced in emotions that are overwhelming without limit. So if you are very permeable people, it is important to take care of your energy, to take care of the information that you are consuming, because collective emotions could affect you a lot. And we know what is happening outside in the world, but if there is a way of contributing energetically, is to create our own nourishing environment to be able to contribute with the best of us to what surrounds us. So it is also about understanding that whatever experience you could be transiting right now, that it could be, moving your emotional body, it is responding to a necessary phase. We are never lost. Actually, we are always transiting what we need to transit to find our own direction. I am saying this because there could be people that are experimenting this square as a lack of clarity, which is also another aspect of Neptune. And well, the last thing that I made a lot of emphasis yesterday, it is the attachment to situations that are not corresponding to reality or are not part of the sense of reality. I mean, illusions that are not nourishing us. But at the same time, this is about trusting in what our soul is dictating intuitively. Whether these are the decisions that we need to take, the process that we are experimenting. I mean, trusting that the process is leading us to the most elevated path, or also the dreams that we want to build, but this requires, again, an active labor. This means taking actions to build them. On June 24th, Mercury in Cancer perfects the square with Chiron in Aries. I talked about this yesterday. This lives like uncover our wounds. It is about observing how we could be projecting on other people. And with projecting, I'm not only referring that many times we are interpreting like words and actions through our wounds. the words and actions of other people, but also that we could unconsciously create situations that are going to reactivate them. So if that occurs, basically is to look that aspect one more time and to love and to accompany ourselves in that profound acceptance of what it is. It is not about looking for getting rid of the sensation or, healing quickly. It is about being the our own shelter and experiment how that is what allows the entrance of light. There could be a sensation of a lot of incomprehension when in discussions when we have this square. So it is important to take in account that we can and we should communicate our emotional needs in an assertive way when there is a relationship that allows that space of intimacy. But forcing other people to act as we want, for them to comprehend us or feeling empathy for what is happening, that is that is entering in the land of manipulation. So Mercury is also going to activate an opposition with Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. Then that same day, the Sun makes this conjunction with Jupiter in Cancer in the degree 3. This is a very, very beautiful aspect, and we didn't have a conjunction with Jupiter in Gemini. The last time that the Sun, this happens annually, and the last time that the Sun had this encounter with Jupiter was in Taurus. So, well, we are having this meeting, and it is active the whole week. It is part also of the new moon. I want to transmit, this conjunction more like a moment where you can see it in all the levels, with all the levels of our self. Intentions, mind, emotions, and actions. What do we want to see growing? If that is linked with family, home, our inner world, it is something very associated with Jupiter in Cancer. But whatever thing you want to really expand, no matter how big this appears, it is a good moment to start. But again, this is about descending things to earth. This transit could present opportunities of a lot of growth, but we are the ones that are responsible to take them, or not doing that, because there could be opportunities that are not aligned with the sense of our path. But also taking new things, in order to do that, it is important to create a space and to let go of what is old, basically. So on June 25th, we have the new moon in Cancer. I talked about that yesterday. I'm not going to repeat myself. On June 26th, we have Mercury in Cancer, and all the transits that I'm mentioning, in fact, they are participating. Mercury in Cancer perfects this sextile with Uranus in Taurus. I also mentioned this. This is a very, very fertile aspect. Always, every time that we have connections between, water and earth, it is important to think about those as, when we are putting the exact quantity and quality of those things, life can grow. So this is about ideas, conversations, and opportunities of change, of creative experiences too, that are nourishing us. And of course, we have to take them to practice in order to materialize them. After that, Mercury enters Leo, and then we start to feel, with much strength, the opposition with Pluto retrograde in Aquarius that is perfected on June 29th. So, as I was saying with the square with Karen, this is not about nor manipulating, nor allowing to be manipulated. What happens? It is Mercury in Leo is totally different to Mercury in Cancer. Mercury in Cancer has this way of processing thoughts and communication much more related to emotions, and in this high vibration, it is like a high empathy, emotional intelligence. When the empathy, it is in imbalance, we could omit important things to avoid reactions of other people. That actually is not empathy, it is a mechanism of protection of oneself. In the other extreme, Mercury in Cancer could have the tendency to close itself in its own thought, because the person is feeling the external or the other or the other, as a threat. There are moments that, of course, that has a function, and there are moments that it won't serve. That if it's done from a childish space, it won't contribute to grow relationships. So Mercury Leo, depending on the consciousness with which we are channeling this energy, it is a high creative mind that could communicate in a way that captivate the attention of other people, that can bring a lot of light through words, and that recognizing its own talents could also perceive the talents of others, how other people could shine. In other level, this could be a very dramatic Mercury. At the time that they are telling stories, they can add fire to situations, which could be a shadow, but could also be very funny. So it is precisely to captivate the attention of other people. Now, I think the true shadows of Mercury Leo could be this energy, very, very focused in oneself. I mean, only the focus is only going through our own experience, and even there could be an incapacity to consider the other people, which is selfishness. This is the shadow of the energy of Leo in general, which is ruled by the sun. And this belongs to this inner child that is not integrated. And with the opposition with Pluto, precisely, these aspects could emerge, the most childish ones, because Pluto always impulses us to observe our shadows. So Mercury Leo could have the tendency to explode through the words, to say very, hard words. And basically, if that occurs, it is because we are perceiving a thing or other person on the outside as, as a threat, and it emerges the will of controlling or the fear of being controlled by that situation. Integrating is finding the middle point between both and transform aspects of us that are preventing ourselves from elevating this energy, and is, instead of investing it in situations that are draining us, we could use that in a creative way to contribute Pluto in Aquarius to the community. Could also this transit represent news or information that are pushing us to make a change that requires to face fears? And the good thing about a Mercury in Leo, entering in Leo, it is that it is going to make trines with Saturn and Neptune in Aries. This is something that we have never experimented before. Therefore, this could contribute a lot with the tension with Pluto. I mean, could add fire too, but I was talking more about the fact that could be the recognition of, I don't want to put energy in this that is draining myself, because it is not serving for the construction, for building what I really want to do. And also could be like detecting how we can approach our direction in a more realistic way with Saturn. These aspects are of a lot of fire, so we could reconnect with the enthusiasm to create new things in our life. And also aspects between Mercury Leo and the trine with Neptune in Aries could be seeing with clarity where our soul needs to go, or observing with clarity the next step. Could also mean, to feel very, very inspired in a creative way in the environment of arts, especially, but it could be whatever thing you want to create. It doesn't necessarily to be arts. So it is a great aspect. And the last thing that I will mention today, it is June 27th, Venus in Taurus creating the sextile, perfecting sextile with North Node in Pisces and South Node, trine with South Node in Virgo. Another beautiful aspect that could help us to connect that with the fact that with the North Node in Pisces, even though we don't know how things are going to be developed, because with North Node in Pisces, we approach the path of the soul, and to do that, this requires a surrender to what we feel intuitively, but perhaps rationally we cannot, fit the entire plan. So Venus in Taurus requires Venus in Taurus wants to enjoy the process, wants to enjoy the path, so we can connect with simple things that could contribute a lot of this pleasure, because Venus is the function of pleasure that is part of the experience. And could also be the internal comprehension that choosing what aligns to the values of the soul, we are actually giving form to experiences that are in resonance with that. So thank you everyone, see you in the next video. Ciao ciao.